Welcome back to Ronnie's vlog. Today is one of my care drop days and I'm planning on doing some care drops south of the Tyne, so we'll be venturing through the Tyne tunnel. I'll tell you a bit more about what the care drops are and why I do them in a little while. So just doing my usual checks, making sure that everything is right and in place. I sometimes forget to fasten the strap under my helmet, so I always do a double check of that. I haven't caught that on camera, that was a bit earlier. And then setting off. It's a beautiful day. We're heading onto the coast road via the slip road and then straight off at the next slip road for the A19 to head down to the tunnel. I used to ride down the A19 from the coast road on my bike many moons ago, and also done it plenty of times in my car, but I haven't really driven my car since my work accident, and I've not driven on this road since they put the new system in place. It used to be a roundabout, but the A19 now runs underneath, so the traffic from the A19 doesn't affect those coming on and off. So basically they've put slip roads in place and it makes it a lot easier. It's really nice to try new roads and new layouts. It's always challenging. I love a challenge. Now we're approaching the Tyne tunnel. I have ridden through the tunnel back on kit too, but that was over 20 years ago, back when there was only one tunnel. Now there is a north tunnel and a south tunnel. The south tunnel, which we're now approaching, is the 40-mile-an-hour limit, and the north tunnel, which you will see later, is the old tunnel, which is the 30-mile-an-hour limit. Now the last time I was in this tunnel was in a car, and it nearly broke down halfway through the tunnel, which was very scary. I was very nervous about riding through the tunnel because of the experience of nearly breaking down and worrying what if I broke down on a bike in the middle of a congested tunnel. Also, with not having the experience, it was pretty scary. But as I said, I like a challenge and I like to conquer my fears, and it was something that I knew I had to do, and I was really glad that I'd finally done it and was actually really proud of myself. And it wasn't as bad as what I expected. So we're now south of the Tyne. So I thought I'd explain what the care drops are. During COVID, I've been actively checking on people via a range of mediums, mostly social media, but also in person where possible. And also been helping practically whenever possible as well. In January, I decided I would try to visit everybody, or almost everybody that I know, to drop off a card and a small gift, obviously obeying social distance, and in full bike gear that is pretty much well covered. I believe mental health is an important issue and we need to address it and need to support each other. I wanted to show love, care and support for people in this hard time. It was also an added bonus of taking me to new places and challenging roads, like the Tyne tunnel, and places I've never been before, or at least places that I've not been on a bike. The journeys provided me with experience for my upcoming mods when I eventually get round to doing them. Now I record all of my journeys, not just for the vlog, but in case of an accident, and also for me to watch back and spot my mistakes and learn from them. They also come in as useful as evidence. One example, I ride sometimes with an old man. He rides to help with his depression, but he is a very anxious rider, so he only rides roads that he knows and at very low speeds. Too slow for me. He's a bit of a snail. Now last week he rang my husband to tell him that I ride too fast and that he should rein me in. Now my husband doesn't ride, and he used to be very anxious of me riding when we first got together over 20 years ago, so that could have been disastrous. I also found it a little bit sexist. I don't know if you agree with me on that, but I did find it a bit sexist that he went running to my husband. Luckily my husband knows my bike can't go any faster than 55, so sometimes that comes in handy. He also knows the man in question, and he trusts my riding ability, but I also have all of these videos as evidence to back me up, thankfully. Now I have cut out certain sections, mainly because otherwise this video would go on for a couple of hours if I didn't cut bits out, so I've concentrated on some of the best bits, but also cut out the actual care drops and the approaches to people's houses, basically because I don't want that on the internet, and also to protect them as well. But I have done a couple of care drops up to this certain point now. I decided to take a break and head along to the beach at South Shields, just for a stop for a few minutes, just to enjoy the view and to grab a drink and a chocolate bar from out of the back of my bag. So leaving South Shields after my small break to head off to do some more care drops. I've concluded this little bit in because I have a friend who really enjoys graffiti art and travels all over to look at it. He's not seen this one before, so I thought I would slow the video down so that you can get a really good view of the wall, and hopefully you'll get some enjoyment out of it too. But John, this is especially for you. Well, just done the final care drop of the day, and it is 10 to 5, so I am heading home. I'm going to head back along to the A19 and then back through the tunnel so that you can see the other tunnel. Now, there are some moments on a bike when it's pretty scary, but then when you look back, it's hard to tell whether it was as scary as what it was. One of them moments is now, I'm in the middle of my lane, the perfect position for a motorbike, and I've got this bus coming into the street, and actually came quite close. It felt like it was going to hit my mirror at one point. I was heading down the slip road onto the A19. It's very quiet at this time of night. I don't know whether it's just because it's a weekend. This road can get very busy, especially at peak times. I've never really been on it when it's been really busy. The only times I've been on it, it's really been quite quiet like this and a nice stretch of road. I really wish that my bike could go faster than 55 miles an hour when I've got a road like this ahead of me. Well, we're now approaching the tunnel. This is what was originally the old tunnel. So I've ridden through this one quite a lot on a bike, but as I said earlier, not in the past few years. We're talking about 20 years ago. This tunnel, unlike the other tunnel, is a 30-mile-an-hour limit. It's quite bendy. It's quite different to the other tunnel. I also think this one's a lot steeper. It seems it goes down quite a bit and then quite steep coming up the other side, whereas the other tunnel is a lot more gradual. Now, cars have to pay to use the tunnel, but luckily motorbikes are free, so I can go through as many times as I want without having to pay, which is the added bonus of riding a bike instead of a car. So an interesting fact about me, I'm a marine biologist. I studied marine biology at the University College Scarborough. I mainly chose Scarborough because of the surf and the bike track, Oliver's Mount.
They factored very highly in my decision to go to Scarborough rather than anywhere else, which was a good thing I did, because I wouldn't have met my husband if I didn't go to Scarborough. But when I finished university, I moved back up to Newcastle and I started working as a laboratory technician for a soil company, and they were doing the soil and rock samples for the second tunnel. So I kind of believe I had a hand in the construction of the second tunnel. A lot of the soil and rock samples that were tested were done by me, so I have a little bit of a claim to that tunnel. Well, back through the tunnel and back into North Tyneside and heading up the A19 north of the Tyne and heading home. So I'm going to sign off in a minute. I'm almost home. I'll just say, if you haven't already, please subscribe and like my videos and maybe share them, and also comment. Especially if you're a more experienced rider than me, I would really love your comments and tips. Any advice or any encouragement would be great. I'm also looking, hopefully, to get a bigger bike after I've passed my mods, but obviously I would need a bike that would be suitable for my disability. So if you are a small person and you have a light bike, let me know what you've got and what you think of it. I love seeing pictures of bikes and I love talking about bikes, so even though it will be about a year till I get another bike, I still want to start looking now and start thinking now about what I'm going to get. I really love the Ducati Monster style bike, which is why I got Ronnie, because it's a similar look, and I love naked bikes. But I'm signing off now. Thank you for watching.